Hello, Reds. Welcome along to All for United.
Hello, Reds around the world. Welcome to this sort of Wall of Reds, sort of preview, sort of end of season wonder where we are guaranteed second spot. Wolves are guaranteed, 15th or 14th or something like that. So it's a game that's so much on the line that it'll be almost be worth staying awake to watch it. But we're here now, and if you were previously watching our preview to the Fulham game, expect about 12 seconds of Wolves talk, and then someone will go on a tangent, and that's the rabbit hole we're going down for, okay? So come for the 12 seconds and stay for the 50 minutes of crying, like making love to the majority of people in this chat right now. So wherever you're watching the world, get in your comments. Let us know where you're actually watching as well. There's a whole heap of you with your eyes on this. So let us know where you're watching. Let us know if you're watching with any good people, if you're having a few drinks, whatever. And we'll have a laugh and we'll enjoy the next hour or so. So Stuart, I called you Stuart in the previews when we were backstage as well. I don't like it. I feel like you're in trouble when I call someone by their full name.
Yes. Call me Stu.
Yeah, Stu is perfect. I don't know. Andrew is the only one I do. Callum. Cal, do you go by Cal or anything? Callum. I think we all just call you Callum. But
I like being called Cal, to be honest.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's officially changed now. Boom. No more Callum. Full-time Cal. That's perfect. You want to go to B, unless you want to go up to Benjamin, whichever way. Are you happy with Ben?
My full name is actually Benjamin, but I like Ben, so...
I like Ben.
Only my mum calls you Benjamin when I'm in trouble.
Oh. Exactly. Andrew, do you like Andrew? Can we call you Andy? Maybe Heavy A? Maybe the brick wall?
So I'm only called Andrew when I'm in trouble, and I would prefer Andy.
Andy. See, look, we're breaking down barriers here. You know,
Can I make a request then?
Jimmy.
No.
Can you call me Jesus or something like
that? Okay, Bunny Holly, for the fact you came back from the dead to be on our show, I think I will call you Jesus for the remainder of this show. Or Jesus if we're feeling exotic. So we got Stu, we got Benny or Ben, we got Cal, we got Andy, and we got Jesus. So this is going great. And you can call me Joe. You can call me whatever you want if you really want to. Fred, great to have you in the comments. You go by Fred or Freddie or anything in between. And sorry, he's in the comments. Evening chaps. Thanks so much. Do you go by Fred or Freddie? Get in the comments. Anyway, Stu, come to you first. Wolves, is this a must win? Does this matter at all? Can this lead to anything for the Europa League final, which is a slightly more important game? Oh wait, hold on. Fuck you, Fred. Okay, I am not Rodney Trotter. All right, no. Okay, no, because I have a Rodney Trotter in the family already. My younger brother Cormac. Okay. And he is Fred now. So he is first name central defensive midfielder for United, second name the current chief executive, or whatever his title is. But we had a fancy dress party. We have like a festival every year amongst the family where we play music and have a laugh and raise money for a local charity. But one year was fancy dress because it was on Halloween, and my brother and my cousin went as Del Boy and Rodney, and my brother he just is the absolute spit of him in the first place. But he just looked like, because he had like the what do they call it, dungarees and all like that. He just looked like a really nice white supremacist. To be honest, like a really friendly one. It suited him, to be fair. It suited him. Ugly Bear. We need to find out your name as well, and if you prefer to be called anything than Ugly Bear. But get to it, and thanks so much. Anyway, Stu, what does this game matter?
I'm a bit torn with this because I actually think as a first 11, we're just not vibing at the minute. I'm not quite sure what's wrong, whether it's upcoming nerves about the final or not. I don't know, because ultimately Sunday's game is a non-event. But I'm kind of torn between whether or not he should be playing the starting 11 in Gdansk on Sunday, certainly for the first half, to get some kind of continuity, or does he kind of play the likes of Hannibal, Ahmad, and give the youngsters, give Mata a send off, Matic a send off?
Stu, can I ask, because you'll remember, I think, more clearly the lead ups to like the 99 final. Well, that was a lot more, that was a bit different because that was a lot more tense. Maybe like the Cup Winners' Cup final, the Europa League final in 2017, the Champions League final in 2008. What are the European finals in that time? I don't think there's any. Was there that sort of cohesion? Was that any sort of issue that you could just play anyone? Does this feel like we need a good lineup going into this?
Continuity is key. Continuity is key. If you're a footballer, I know the Cup Winners' Cup final, Fergie played his strongest team up to the final. 99 was pretty much the standard team up to the final. York and Cole played most of the started most of the games, and Sheringham and Solskjaer will come off the bench. Schmeichel played most of the games. It's a strange one as a footballer. They will want to play on Sunday. They've got to try and play themselves out of this kind of drab position that we're in at the minute, and it is drab. There's just nothing to be happy about over the last 4 games, really. And so they've got to try and play themselves out, because I know it's a one-off game, but anything can happen in a one-off game. But the same goes for the opposition. So I'm kind of a bit torn. Do we rest the players? Don't we rest the players? Look, if it was me and I was in that dressing room, and I was someone like Fernandez, which I'm not, by the way, nowhere near, I would want to be playing ready, and I'll be saying and I'll be saying to the boss, we need to be on the plane Sunday evening. Get to Gdansk, and have 2 days in Gdansk training before we play the game. That's how I would think. But I think it's a bit of a difficult one for Ollie. He's got to show a ruthless streak one way or the other. But I think I'll tell you something for nothing. What happens at Wednesday will be absolutely pivotal for next season. If we can go into next season, with a trophy under our belts, I think it'd be pivotal. So it's a nothing game, Wolves. It's one of those. It's Wolves are on the beach; they don't care.
Yeah. Stu, we need to thank you for bringing out your most beloved jerseys weekly. Like, obviously, before you brought out your beloved Liverpool jersey. Now you're bringing out your beloved Latvian national team jersey.
Yes,
it's very much appreciated.
Yes. Definitely not Latvia.
The Latvian veterans.
Yes.
A couple of comments. I'm going to do my best Northern Irish accent here to do. Stuart, what about you, boys? That's slang for hello, basically. So thanks, Stu. Thanks for joining us in the comments. What are your thoughts, Stu, and where we should go with? Northern Irish Stu, I'm talking now. Should be resting players? Should we go full strength? And the doc is here. Always a pleasure. Hello, lads. It's a no-brainer for Sunday. Need to rest key players like Bruno, Wan-Bissaka, Shaw. I would say yes. Sorry, but I disagree that he must play a strong lineup. Yeah, you disagree that he must play it. Fair enough. I think the players that have been constantly playing well, I think, can be rested. That's what Barry's saying. I think a few people that have kind of struggled a bit in the last while should be getting game time, just to pick up the mood. Fred, there's a very fine line.
Can I just make a quick point?
I've never stopped you before. Never been able to.
We've been playing the strongest team. We've been playing fucking woeful.
Yeah.
We haven't played well for 5 games. We put nothing together of any real note. We've got no real continuity. We've got no great passing. We've had 0 penetration in the final third. Absolutely 0.
I've heard that at recent times as well. Ben,
difficult one.
Benny, I'm going to go to you. What do you hope? What do you dream that will happen this Sunday? What's your best case scenario?
Oh, bloody hell. I've always said we can't go to a final on the back of absolute drab performances. But then again, I can see us resting a few players as well. Rashford needs a rest, man. I wouldn't even play him against Wolves. I'd give him a rest to say to like, get yourself ready for the final. But I also think we need to get a win. We need to get the don't matter about the 3 points, just a win under our belt, just to go into a final on the back of a positive result, because at the minute we're on a bit of a downward spiral in terms of results. So it's a catch-22, isn't it? It's like, you know, but I can see him resting now. I really can now. The more I think about it, the more I take up other people's points as well in the comments and everything. I can see him resting. I really can. You know, trying to put some of his the more important players wrapped up in cotton wool, if you will. But yeah, well, as Stu said, Wolves are already on their holidays as well. But it doesn't mean that Wolves don't want to come out and beat Manchester United and try and throw a spanner in the works. You know. In terms of our confidence going into a final. So it's a difficult one, really. But as Stu said, that we've been playing our best team and we've not been playing very well at the minute. So, and we've been on about it before, where I don't think Ollie trusts his squad 100% completely. There's still a lack of depth there. So it's like, I don't know. It's a really catch-22 thing, really, to be fair. I think the doc said there, let me put my readers on, do apologise because I can't read it out. I think he'll make 8 or 9 changes for Sunday, which he could, mate, to be fair. He could. You know, so... but Maguire, by the way, is supposed to be pictured without his boot on, but that doesn't mean anything, to be fair, mate. It's going to be touch and go whether Maguire makes a final, but... I don't know, mate. It's a difficult one, really. It's a difficult one, but I really want to see us go out there with a bit of a positive result, you know. But who knows? He might make changes. We might get a positive result from that. You never know. Hopefully.
Yeah, Connor, evening, gents. Always great to have you in the chat, Connor, and around. I read reports that Hannibal, I can't pronounce your second name. I know who we're talking about. I could get a game. Maybe. I've heard that as well. Hama, the wonderful Hama. Sheesh. I come in and see talk about penetration. I don't know if I want to watch the episode. This is what I mean. It's going to be very little actual, football talk this episode. But someone, Andrew was very insulted by that, by penetration talk. Curse you, Stu. Callum, coming to you. For me, I was thinking, okay, that the only kind of position I'm happy with seeing our full strength part going for the final would be goalkeeper and centre backs, just because I think they need, whoever they're going to be, they need as much minutes together as possible going into the final. Would that be the same for you? Would you like a couple more? Who would you like to see playing both games?
Both games. I want to see Lindelof and Axel. I know it's probably going to be very unpopular on this channel, but I think Tuanzebe's a better defender than Eric Bailly at the minute.
Yes.
I think Bailly's definitely got a little bit of a ruthless streak about him. Not that he's not a good defender. I just personally think Axel's a better defender. So I'd like to see him play. I think what he'll probably do is he'll play the likes of Mata, probably give him a send-off. Although I want Mata to stay personally. I think he's definitely a good member of the squad to keep. On the other hand, I'd hope he played Matic for that reason, because I don't want him here next season. I think his legs have gone. I don't think he's got a future at United anymore. I think he's one of them players that I'd probably end up moving over to America.
Apparently, Jose's in for him. 10 million to Roma.
10 million?
Fucking yes. 10
Yeah,
Jesus, I'll drive him myself. Yeah, so, the likes of Matic, maybe a couple of academy players. I think, there's nothing to play for anymore in the league. The league's finished.
Cal,
maybe give a few minutes to the likes of Bruno and Wan-Bissaka, just keep a little bit of fitness up. Obviously, there'll be fans in the stadiums and things, so they'll want to play because they've not done that in over a year. Wan-Bissaka's a weird one, though, because I don't particularly... I love watching Wan-Bissaka, but he probably does need a rest. But the only problem is that we don't really have a replacement for him other than Brandon Williams, who I still personally think is probably better on the left. But Ollie must disagree, because that's obviously a reason why we signed Tellez. I can't really call it, to be honest. I think he'll play a full strength team first half, and then maybe make 2 or 3 changes.
Can I just ask you on Tuanzebe, because we got a couple of comments in here. Like, he was, I think, man of the match against PSG, absolutely world class, coming from not playing for 13 or 14 months. And then he's kind of been ousted, especially ever since that Everton incident. Like, what do you think has happened? behind
He
the
was
scenes.
in.
And he has,
Well, he was. Didn't he catch an injury or something like that? Not catch an injury. He's not cold. Didn't he get an injury? He got an injury, didn't he? And I don't think he looked the same player. I mean, you ask an Aston Villa fan, and they'd take Axel back tomorrow. And I personally think he's not been badly managed. He's been injured. I think if you were obviously with Bailly getting this new contract, I personally believe this ship might have sailed at United for Axel, which is a really big shame because I think he's a brilliant defender. But saying that, when Tyrone Mings is £26 million from Bournemouth, there's absolutely no reason why we couldn't get 30 million for Axel Tuanzebe. Obviously, in today's market, that's probably about right. Not that I think 30 million isn't a lot of money, but given with the Neymar transfer the other year, transfer fees just went through the roof for even bang average players. So to ask for 30 million for Axel, I don't think a bad fee at all. So I'd like to see him stay, but I think with Bailly's new contract, I think it's probably going to be Axel and maybe Phil Jones, who are the two centre backs to leave.
do you think there's any chance it could be another loan deal?
That would be a good one, to be honest. I think it gives a year maybe to hopefully add to the fee of Bailly in the future. I personally think going to Aston Villa on loan or going to maybe a newly promoted team would be really good for him, give him constant Premier League experience. He'd be starting every single game, and then he could come back to United and hopefully it'd be a big part of a future winning squad. But I think I don't think that's going to happen. I think you're probably going to be looking at a selling deal.
Yeah,
which is a shame because I don't want that to happen. But
I really hope you're wrong in that. I think I'm hoping that it will be a loan, and I think as to get his fitness up and stuff like that, and see if he can play a full season. I'm hoping that's the way it goes.
I'm hoping you're wrong too. I'd love to see him in the Premier League get a lot of games because he's definitely got the quality there. I think when he has come into the team, he has made a couple of mistakes. But do you know what? So Dean Henderson. No one's saying that. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of stuff about Dean Henderson saying that he's no good. And like you saw Sky Sports the other day, David De Gea played, and 2 minutes after the lineup got released, Sky Sports jumped on it. It's just gutter journalism to use United's name, and it's ridiculous. So everyone makes mistakes, and I think we've just got to remember that he hasn't played that much. Same with Henderson to an extent. He only played the cup games and stuff. So I think with these players, we've just got to be a little bit more patient. If it's a consistent basis that he's making mistakes, then you've got to start questioning whether he's good enough. But at the minute, I don't have any, which he's not yet. I don't have any doubt in my mind that Axel can be a Man United centre back. Maybe not at first choice at the minute, but definitely at a third or fourth.
There's an old saying in football, lads, and that is, if you don't make a mistake, you're not playing.
Yeah.
You're not playing. You're not on that pitch. You're doing something else. You're ball watching, whatever. You've got it. You make a mistake. You're in the game. You learn from it. It's just life.
And just to bring up Fergie's interview with Neville today, he was very good at saying about how you take risks in football.
Yeah.
So it happens a lot, and I understand centre backs can't do that as much as maybe the midfielders or the attacking players, but it happens, and every player can do that, and it shows that you're not scared to play for Man United. I don't think that's a bad thing at all.
Tuanzebe was out for like a year before PSG game. No one outside the club truly knew the reason why. There was no one saying he had a serious. No, there was, but that is the only way you can see. And he is out for a year. No, I think there was. I don't remember there being any controversy about him being out for a year.
I think he had a really bad groin problem. Can I just bring something up as well, Joe?
Yeah, go for it, Cal.
I was sat in the pub on Saturday night.
Jealous.
My local, and John Commode actually walked past me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I messaged him and I was like, I'm sure I've just seen you walk past. He lives near the pub that I go in back home, which I thought was quite a small world.
Give the pub a shout out. Go on.
The Nag's Head in Ermston. Proper little pub.
Of course, the fucking Nag's Head. We're chatting about only feels
decent pub that.
I'll give it a go next time I'm over. But James, sorry, Jesus, apologies. And Neil the wonderful Neil came in a comment. A good point, 30 million, decent. Throw Jones in for free as well. Look, if we threw Jones in, the fee will go down to 27 million. All right. But Jesus, first of all, your thoughts on the game in general. Like, what are you hoping for? Who do you expect to play? And then we'll get your thoughts on the... there he goes. John Commode. Couldn't believe it. I'll say hello to you next time, Callum. Yeah, make sure you do. All right, and buy him a pint as well. But what are your thoughts on the Axel situation? And also, a lot of people are Ugly Bear said twice, maybe someone else said it. No, he said it twice. Swap Axel plus cash for John McGinn for CDM. John McGinn's a very good player, but not one to win you a Premier League. Anyway, Jesus, take it away.
Yeah, I'm starting to regret the Jesus thing. It's too much pressure. I don't like it. I'm not used to being a religious court hero, but for the Wolves game, I can completely see where Stu's coming from. I think continuity is important, but I think with the amount of injury-prone players we've got in our squad, it's probably not the best to make, especially seeing as they played midweek as well. I think it's probably not that wise making them play sort of 3 days apart all the time. I think a rest is probably going to do more good than maybe an extra game playing together. I think they've had all year to get that continuity going, really. I don't think one game would make too much of a difference. So I want to see sort of a similar team to the one that played Leicester. I want to see quite a lot of young players brought in, maybe even some that haven't played before. I think I'd like to see Elanga again, especially against probably what is pretty much a weaker opposition, isn't he? Because I thought Elanga looked quite good against Leicester. When he sort of got the ball, he was just shepherded out the game by some quality defenders, and that's not really his fault. So, yeah, definitely I want to see Hannibal brought in as well. I think he's been knocking on the door for a start in some sort of game for a while now, and I think there's only so long you can put it off. So it'd be good to get him a little bit of football before next season. And yeah, I think what was the other thing you asked me about? Was it the Axel thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was sort of a little bit disappointed when Bailly signed a new contract. So that's sort of the final nail in the coffin for Axel at United. Really, I think, especially if we're going to sign a centre back this summer, which is disappointing because, like you say, he's had a few mistakes. Which he's young and he's not played regularly since he was at Villa, so he's not going to be completely accident free, especially in a position like centre back. But I think trying to swap him for John McGinn wouldn't really be the best deal. I think that'd just be you sort of accommodating for the circumstances. I think there's definitely better options out there than John McGinn, and I think if Villa want Axel that bad, they'll stump up the cash. I don't think we need to be taking on another mediocre player for our standards to accommodate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well done, Jesus.
Thank you.
Hammers. Joe, I don't think James will translate to Jesus, sir. Also, did I miss that one? You can blame Jesus himself for that one, for landing it into it. Because when I asked everyone what their name is shorter, as Andrew or the Wall, we call Andy, he decided to call himself Jesus. So I decided to spice it up a bit and change it to Jesus. He's entirely self to blame. His little bollocks. Anyway, Andy the Brick Wall. What do you hope from the game on? Is it Sunday or Saturday we're playing? Actually, is it
Sunday?
It is Sunday.
All teams play Sunday, so
yeah,
on the same time. So, in terms of the Wolves game, I mean, it means little to nothing in terms of the league table. I mean, Wolves, the highest they can finish is 12, and the lowest is 14. So it really means little to them, the match either. But I say, while it means very little in a materialistic sense, United do need to win the game just to gain some momentum going into one of the biggest games since the FA Cup final back in 2018. I mean, we failed to win four of the last 5 matches in all competitions, and the only 3 points we picked up was against the Villa and obviously the point against Fulham. I mean, the injury to Harry Maguire, it's not helped us, and that's coincided with the poor form we've been, and also the amount of fixtures the players have had to play. I mean, if we didn't win against Wolves, it would see the team going into a big European final, which is our 7th in the club's history, without a win in 4 matches, which is not very ideal. Not only this, we're also chasing the Arsenal's record of 27 away games without a defeat in the Premier League. We want to end the season without being defeated away all season. So, and also, we've gone 25 matches in the league without a defeat away from home. I say a loss, if we did lose to Wolves, it could just prove detrimental to any confidence or morale left within the players. It's quite easy for us fans and pundits out there to say, in the final, all momentum and form goes on out the window. But unfortunately, you want to be going in with some confidence and you want to be, let's say, get that win on Sunday. And then they can take that confidence into the final. I mean, the game against Wolves can't be taken for granted granted, even if results matter little elsewhere. So I'd argue Solskjaer should play his best team, but I don't see him doing that because some of those players picked up knocks on Wednesday as well.
Yeah.
In terms of like Axel, the other question.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I say he's got a deal until 2022, and there's an option to extend it a further year, but it's not been triggered so far. The problem is at the moment there's so many spaces in the United squad. You think by now Tuanzebe should have at least got 100 appearances for the club, but with the number of injuries he's had, and we buy in even Mengi signing a new deal at Old Trafford, and with Victor Lindelof and Maguire featuring week in and week out, you just wonder what the future holds for Tuanzebe. Is it another loan deal next season, or does he move on from the club? Is only time will tell.
Yeah, absolutely. There's your quote. You're one per episode. Only time will tell. Hama just coming in with a bit of shocking news. Yes, Hama isn't my name. Lol. I don't know if Lol is his name. And just like, I don't know what your heritage, Hama, so I'm not going to take a stab at your name. But judging by what is usually going in your mouth prior to the show going on live, I'm going to presume it's like Sunflower Child or something like that. Something along those lines. But everyone in the comments, we have officially run out of things to talk about for the game on Sunday. So I'm leaving it up to you all out there. Are we discussing David Beckham joining the Premier League Mile High Club? Or are we talking about De Gea versus Henderson, who should start going into next season? Whoever comments first, it's a nickname. It's a nickname. What's a nickname for? Whoever comments first.
Okay,
Okay,
what we should talk about, Joe. We should talk
go on.
about Steven Gerrard going in the Hall of Fame before Paul frigging Scholes. Never won one Premier League, and then he's won 11, and he's put him in first. It's ridiculous.
But he has won 6 Premier League Players of the Month.
Great. So at one stage, I think.
Yeah, I think we'll go, Stu, we'll go to you first on this.
Well, I'm totally disinterested in the Hall of Fame. I have no interest in it whatsoever.
Yeah, I think it's an absolute crock of fucking shit, if I'm being honest. And this is actually a great question from... We'll do a round table of us all giving out about this shite. We'll talk about De Gea versus Henderson. And I also want, what is David Beckham's best goal? And I know some of you more nationalistic here might want to say against Greece, but this is my show. That's not allowed, okay? No England goals, no England moments. No, you can speak about Real Madrid for you can speak about England, all right? Now I can see that little smirk in your face, Stu. All right, I can see it because when I said nationalist or something a lot, I meant just you. Okay.
Yes,
just
I noticed
you,
that.
All right.
Yes.
So I'll let you give out. Old man yells at cloud about David about the Hall of Fame, but I also want you to give me his favorite goal. Okay.
Okay. Well, Hall of Fame. Seriously, it'll take me a second. I'm just totally disinterested with it. I don't see why you should just do the Premier League era. It's just typical Sky, just jumping on a bandwagon to I don't know, to kind of get behind a certain type of player, and I'm just disinterested with it completely. Yeah, that's all I've got to say about it. It's a crock of shit, really. As regards to Beckham, Beckham for us was one of those players that, because he hit kind of superstardom, it kind of brought him to the forefront of our club, and it brought him to the forefront of every team that he played in. And he had some pretty poor games, actually. He wasn't very fast. He wasn't particularly skillful, but my God, could he cross. And in the game and the era where he was playing and the time that he was playing, we'd never ever seen anybody like that who could cross the ball with that much accuracy, that much pace, and that much whip. Wingers at the time tended to be very, very similar to Kanchelskis, very, very fast, could take on a player, but their kind of final ball it was pretty woeful. Even Giggsy, if you consider Giggs, he had an excellent amount of skill, very, very quick with his feet, but his crossing wasn't always the best. But Beckham seemed to have nailed that. He got a very unusual technique, probably ahead of its time, actually. He used to use the very top instep of his foot to get the whip around it. And and we were exceptionally dangerous. I mean, Ruud van Nistelrooy, wow. I used to absolutely love it when Beckham was on there.
So what's your favourite goal?
Do you know something? I can't, for the life of me, I can't remember what year it is. But anyway, we were 3-0 down to Spurs at White Hart Lane.
2001.
Was it 2001, was it?
Yeah.
We were 3-0 down to Spurs. And I just thought Beckham's edge of the box. If you can imagine it, was to the right side of the box, and he kind of curled it over the keeper. It was a wonderful goal. So it's probably my favourite one. I'm not going to go for the Wimbledon one because I think he got lucky, quite frankly.
He's been called out finally.
Yeah, but no, that was my favourite because I just love that game anyway. I mean, Varane scored a wonderful goal. Van Nistelrooy's header, Blanc's header. Yeah, it was fantastic. Fantastic.
My favorite goal actually was against Spurs as well, but it was in the Premier League Cup final, as you might say, when last day of the season, treble year, when we went 1-0 down through Les Ferdinand, where he lobbed Schmeichel, and then just bursted through the net. I think it was inside the box or the edge of the box, but it was like a free kick because he stopped the ball dead and then knocked in. I was like, beautiful.
What about Coley though? On the bench.
Oh yeah. I loved that finish.
Fans were going nuts that he was on the bench for that.
I'd say
going absolutely nuts.
That finish is the finish I try to replicate the most. Do you know, where it's too close to his body, he takes it down on the top of his toe and then to lob it over the keeper. That is a beautiful goal. But I'm just talking about Beckham. And actually, Stu has a great one here. Ben, I'll let you talk about this one, okay? Coming in. FA Cup semi-final against Arsenal. Can you remember where you watched? What age were you about? Well, let me see. You were.
I was about 11, 12. Yeah. Mate, I just fucking that season. It's a great season of my life. Just going back a bit before I get onto that goal. My generation. I grew up with the class of '92, so David Beckham was my first proper footballing idol. If Lee Sharp was my first ever favourite footballer, David Beckham was my first proper footballing idol. I adored him. And like many kids of my generation, we had the same haircuts, the skinhead, the mohawk, the Mohican, the curtains,
Yeah, me too.
We tried to beg our mums and our dads to buy the Predator boots that he wore on. I used to get the cheapy versions from my mum. It's like, mate, do with that. I didn't get the actual proper 200 quid David Beckham boots, whatever they might have been back then.
I've got a pair, Benny.
So listen, he was my absolute idol as a kid growing up. But I'll get on to that cup semi-final goal in just 1 second. But my favourite one was the Real Madrid free kick just before he left for Real Madrid in the Champions League. That was a cracking free kick. He came off the bench and he scored the free kick there. But that semi-final goal, everybody forgets it because of the Ryan Giggs goal that followed it. Because Giggsy was fucking unreal when he came on. That goal was probably the greatest FA Cup goal of all time. But that Beckham goal was special, mate. To bend it past Seaman from that sort of range was unreal. Because let's not forget, David Seaman was a top goalkeeper back then as well. He wasn't beyond his powers. Like people maybe remembering for Ronaldinho chipped him in the World Cup. Yeah. But, he was a very good keeper.
That's the thing, Ben. I don't mind England goals being brought up if it leads to misery. So you can talk about that as long as you want, okay?
But David Beckham, as Stu was saying, was never the fastest. He was never the quickest. But we was all kids of my generation. I don't know where Callum might be. Callum might remember this, and I don't know if James is about that sort of age. But we used to always be on the playground. Everybody wanted to be a Beckham. Everybody wanted to try and get that cross in. I used to try and impress girls. I was an ugly little bastard, as I am now. But I always used to try and impress girls by showing them like the whip. I could do the David Beckham whip. I once scored from a school team in a cup semi-final. Whipping it from the corner arc. I was well impressed with that. So that's my claim to fame. But fucking hell, man. But David Beckham, what a player.
Yeah.
But you know, that's my favourite goal of Beckham's anyway. Oh, the other good shout is Barcelona in '99, that free kick. We played in the white kit at Old Trafford, where he bent it. I can't remember who played the goal.
We were 3-1 down. Yeah.
Something like that, bent it. Yeah. Oh my God, that was beautiful.
Benny, what about the chip at West Ham? The first time chip.
Oh.
You know, we were in the white and the black. We were in that favourite. Where's Connor when I need him? We were in that kit.
Where's Connor? Yeah.
Do you remember that one? That just looked.
Mate, I was going to part that day as well, man.
Thanks for that, Stu. That was my goal.
Oh, was it? I just love that one. Yeah. Sorry, man.
I was up to part that day anyway. That was fucking quality. And
have the Liverpool free kick against James or I did went in off the bar at Anfield. Yeah.
There's loads that David Beckham scored, man.
How's that one?
I don't want to take too many up because I want the guys to have a say.
We've already stolen Cal's one already. Time to get another one. Cal, you were you're what, 25, are you?
Yeah.
25.
Very nearly 25.
Yeah, so you would have gotten what? You would have been quite young when Beckham left. You would have 6 or 7, were you?
Yeah, I was. I was 6 years old when I saw it on teletext. That I still remember the day that he announced that he was leaving, and I think I cried. Actually, I was 6, and I think I cried. I was absolutely heartbroken. Beckham was my favourite player, and even to this day, I won't have anything bad said about the guy. He was absolutely nothing short of world class. That guy. And he's probably one of the most underrated footballers, even still in history. You've got football journalists who come out and say Trent Alexander-Arnold,
Miguel Delaney.
Miguel Delaney, there you go. Coming out how overall he's a better player, and honestly, he should never write a football article again. David Beckham came runner-up twice in the World Player of the Year. He was runner-up in 1999 for the Ballon d'Or. This guy was honestly up there with the best players in the world when he played. He won the treble with Manchester United. He was the second superstar, probably after George Best, to absolutely take the celebrity world by storm. And I think some people put that as a hindrance on his name, and it's ridiculous. David Beckham was honestly incredible, and the guy absolutely perfected his right foot. Like every single kid at my school wanted to be David Beckham. That guy did a stupid mohawk, and you had kids at 8 years old shaving both sides of their head just to look like David Beckham.
That'd be me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The guy had an influence both on and off the pitch across the world, and everybody knew his name, and that's treated as a bad thing for him. It's ridiculous because people seem to forget his achievements as a player. You know what I mean? He won absolutely everything pretty much there was to win in the game, and almost won a bloody best player in the world. So the slander of Beckham that he gets sometimes it's nothing short of a disgrace. And the other, to be fair, there's another goal. I think it was against Deportivo, if I'm not wrong.
Oh, I think.
And he was about 35 yards out, and he just went, you know what? Fuck it, I'll take a shot. And it just went right over the keeper like it wasn't even there. He was unbelievable, David Beckham. I know everyone remembers the Wimbledon goal from the halfway line, but that guy was he was insane. He was ridiculously good, and I'll never have a bad word said about him. And
John Commode actually brought up one there I completely forgot about, the Man City free kick in 2000. Like, where it was even close to the halfway line. It was so far out, and it was just, I'm actually on YouTube that now as we're talking, but like, that's such a beautiful goal.
That gets forgotten about because of Van Persie's, doesn't it? Last minute winner. That's the only reason that gets forgotten about, that Beckham one.
Beckham should have won the World Player of the Year in '99. It was just absolute fucking travesty.
No, Roy Keane should have.
You reckon Roy Keane?
Yeah, Roy Keane didn't win. Roy Keane. Yeah, he's a better player than David Beckham. Roy Keane.
Not in '99. I think David Beckham was in his height, his powers in '99.
Roy Keane.
There's a bit of a weird debate to have that in it, though.
I get into two completely different players. I don't think we could have won everything we did without the both of them in the team. So I think absolutely fair. But I think Roy Keane should have won, as captain, should have won PFA Player of the Year. And but James,
if you want to bring in these Hall of Fames and all these stupid single awards just to show how ridiculous they are, David Ginola won PFA Player of the Year that year. Man United won absolutely
That's right.
everything there was to
David
win.
Ginola, yeah.
And David Ginola,
yeah. That's
you know what
such
I
a
mean? You
fucking
talk
joke.
about Man United bias and stupid journalists and all that, and it's just an absolute like how did David Beckham not win it? How did Roy Keane not win it? How did Dwight York not win it? These players who won absolutely everything, and a Man United player didn't even win that single award.
I want to know why Jesper Blomqvist didn't win it. That's what I want to know.
Because he
Jesper was quality.
No, he fucking wasn't. He had his moments. He mislaid a pass against Juventus, which Keane had to dive in for, which led to him getting the yellow card. So he's a bastard. But poor little Jesus is sitting there all alone, like the young little good boy he is, playing FIFA. I don't know if David Beckham was pre-FIFA, so you mightn't have heard of him, Jesus. But if what you know of him, what's your favorite thing about him? Which hair?
I liked all of them. He was a very good-looking man. I was 3 when he left Manchester United, so I didn't even support Man United at the time. I didn't know what a football was, so it'd be hard for me to say what's one goal that I watched and it stuck with me forever. But looking at highlight reels and everything, because I'm just sad I don't do anything but watch United goals on YouTube and sit indoors. So look, from memories of them, I'll go. There's a free kick against Liverpool at Anfield. I'm sure he went keeper's side, completely threw him off. I think he hit the bar, hit the post, went in. It was
David James. David James was the keeper.
Yeah, there you go. He couldn't have placed it any more perfect, and probably had no real significance, but it's against Liverpool, so you can't complain, can you?
Yeah, I won't complain at all. So I think more. Not, I say, what do you think of his career post United? We look at Real Madrid. He was kind of his most successful part was maybe his last 6 months. And then he was at a Galaxy with the odd loan move. I think that might have hindered things a little bit. The fact he went to America so young. I think he was only about 30 or so when he left.
Yeah, maybe. I think the fact that the team that he had around him at Real Madrid as well might have hindered his legacy a bit in the fact that, how did he not win more with that team? That was prime Galacticos era when he came in, wasn't it? But, I mean, he didn't, after LA Galaxy, he was still semi-ambitious. He went to Milan and then PSG, didn't he? So, it's not the worst thing in the world. I suppose he's accredited with building the game up massively in America as well. I don't think the soccer as it is in America would be as big as it is today if Beckham wouldn't have gone over there. So I suppose there's positives and negatives, but I think I can understand why he'd leave United, but I think that was a mistake in itself in leaving.
True. And Andy, we're going to go to you now. Although you don't look it, you are 500 years old. So he's catching up on you, Stu. You still got a couple of thousand millenniums ahead of him.
Easy.
But Andy, for yourself, you grew up like us with David Beckham. Was he on your wall? Was he your main player to go to?
Yeah, I like him and Eric Cantona. I mean, I think people sometimes forget how good David Beckham was. I mean, his impact on and off the pitch. I mean, for the amount of appearances he made with us, also, he made 80 assists with his range of passing and crosses. He contributed over 60 goals for the club. But I'm just thinking back to when after the '98 World Cup, where he got sent off, and then the whole nation, the media, were at him for getting sent off and causing England to go out. But he came back to United. Fergie and the coaches, his fellow players, put their arm around him, and us fans just got behind him. And he had one of his best seasons in the 98-99 final, contributed to us winning the treble. I mean, in terms of his whole career, he's English player to win 4 league titles in 4 different countries. So he deserves to go into the Hall of Fame. But in terms of this Premier League Hall of Fame, it feels like it's becoming more of a popularity contest. So in terms of the best goal, I'm going to have to say the Wimbledon one. It just literally launched him into the stratosphere. And I say when Cavani scored on Tuesday, the way he did, it sort of reminded me a little bit of Beckham's goal as well he did against Wimbledon. So just brought back some memories of that as well. But yeah, David Beckham will go down as an all-time legend for United.
I think what helped as well, if anyone wants to jump in at this, is when he picked up the scarf when he was playing for Milan. What was that, 2010 or something like that?
Wait, what the protest that never happened according to Graham Souness?
Yes, remember it
That's
didn't
the
happen.
one.
Yeah, the one that didn't happen.
The one that didn't happen, and the one where
yeah.
we didn't actually care about the Glazers because we were winning everything. Fucking idiot.
Yes, yeah. It's such a. Do you know what I realized? And the whole thing. Do you want to know my theory? I don't care if you want to know it. I'm going to say anyway. Of why Scholes isn't in it yet. Okay, Giggs obviously is a different thing, but why Scholes isn't in it yet is because they know United fans are going to get upset and get pissed off, and they know that having Gerrard in ahead of them and Lampard in ahead of them will make United fans tweet out that going like, where Scholes? Do you know what I mean? So it gets so many more eyes on it. Why TalkSport always talk shit about Ollie and talk shit about United is because they know it'll get the millions of United fans around the world see that and then give out about it. Do you know? That's why they don't say anything about City ever.
That's the issue, though. It's absolute gutter journalism.
It is.
Gutter press.
It is.
That's what it is. They use United's name to get millions of views. How do these people go to university, study all the lies to be a good journalist, and then write articles like that? These people get paid to do this. And it's so frustrating. When you see the likes of Jermaine Genius, who, by the way, is a complete whopper, and then you've got Graham Souness saying utter crap on Sky. These people get paid a lot of money to say this. And it's like, how do they allow that? And then you remember, oh yeah, United are still the biggest club in the world. United haven't won the league or whatever for 8 years. We've not been a big club. We've not acted like a big club, I should say, for a long time. But we still get the clicks and we still get the advertisement and things.
There's a point that's it's going to make. I think this is what John's saying. I'll add to it if it isn't exactly what he's saying. A side issue: BBC pundits have voted for the Player of the Year. Bruno and Shaw got no votes. De Bruyne, who had not had the best season, didn't have a good season. De Bruyne is probably the best midfielder in the Premier League, but not this season. Do you know what I mean? And should not have been in the conversation this season whatsoever. But like he's getting that on reputation, and that's it.
Just to add to that, Harry Kane has been absolutely unbelievable this season. Harry Kane. Yeah. He's been out injured and still scored 22 Premier League goals and made 13 assists. And he got 7 votes, I think. These people and if I'm honest, John Stones was better than Ruben Diaz. He was 100% better than Ruben Diaz. And nobody mentioned him. I just don't get it. Like I don't get these people.
I'm going to go to Jesus for a minute because Jesus is getting into journalism. And you're on a really get me calling this. You're actually becoming a journalist. So what are your thoughts on your kind of, like, is it a case of you will have to be the sort of thing of like, is that I'm trying to explain this in the best possible way. Is this thing a worry for you? Do you know, is this thing you actually see and you take note of? Is it something that you're taught about, or what way do you look at it?
I'll start by saying I don't think a lot of these people that write these articles actually believe it. I think a lot of it is the people they're working for have told them to write this article, so they've wrote it just purely because they're getting paid. I think that's more the case. Obviously, there are going to be some idiots who actually believe what they're writing, but yeah, it's weird going into journalism because you're going to have people like the Sun who will offer you money and will offer you a job when no one else will, which you sort of have to. You're going to have to say, do I go with my morals or do I build a career here? And I think that's a difficult thing that some of these writers are going through. But no, we're not. We're taught at university to go completely by integrity and report facts only. And you know, the whole point of journalism is to report news, not give your opinion. That's the entire point of being a journalist. So yeah.
The thing about it, James, is because I'm a journo as well. And you know as well as I do, it's how you write, isn't it? You write from here. Yeah. And, you know, I was taught about integrity. I was taught to almost write how you would speak, you know, in many ways, and then structure it, you know, and get your sentencing correct. But the thing about
just to quote Ted Hastings, Stu, when did we stop caring about honesty and integrity? Hey, when did we stop caring about that? Hey, line of duty, that. All about
have you stopped crying yet? Well, about the ending.
And you're right,
I'm over it now.
Yeah, Cal, you're right in many ways because, unfortunately, and James is right. As a journo, you're given a brief, or you're given an assignment, or you're given a project. And certainly in the early days, certainly with where James is now, and I'll be asked to write an article, 200-300 words about I don't know, his local club or about a local player that his club's linked to, and he's got to go and and find about it, or he's got to write 300 words about anything. And sometimes, well, more often than not, there are unscrupulous kind of people out there that write for clicks. And in the sports industry, and certainly not in the motor sport industry, which is where I work, but in the football industry, there's only one club that sells newspapers, and that is us. That's Manchester United. It's the only club that sells newspapers. If there is 50 newspapers in the UK today, I guarantee you now, every single one somewhere, Manchester United will be mentioned, whether it's a small, 20 words, or whether it's a big article, that we will be mentioned, because Manchester United are clickbait. So James is spot on, really. So for a young journalist starting out, it's very, very difficult to get the integrity, unfortunately, because of the clowns that have come before James. So my advice to you, mate, is follow your own path.
Yeah, I think the problem is as well. The problem is as well that these clickbait stories sell more than anything with integrity. People want to be entertained rather than informed nowadays, which is another bad thing. So I think if you want to be more successful if you want to get a more successful career out of journalism, sort of money wise and sort of materialistically, then you've got to go down that route, because that's the easiest way to be successful. So it's more about the people reading it than the actual people writing it, because I think they're just more catering towards the audience that they're serving.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Spot on. Yeah.
I think anyone want to make any closing points before we call it a night?
Fuck Steven Gerrard.
Cool. That no better way to finish it, Cal. No better way to finish. Okay.
Closing points for me would be, let's just fucking enjoy Sunday and let's enjoy Wednesday, and let's hope that we come back with a trophy Wednesday. Are we doing a? Should I mention it, Joe? We're doing a watch along. Did I hear?
I don't know if that's not allowed to be mentioned or not, but I guess it's said now. So
I'm in trouble now.
In all seriousness, Stu's right. Let's just enjoy the game Sunday. Yeah. We've had a very progressive and good season, I think. We're in a final. I think we've got a very good chance of winning a trophy. Hopefully we are backed in the summer, and Ollie's backed in the summer, and he can keep building this squad. I genuinely think if he's backed properly, we could give a very good challenge to the title next season. Not saying we'll win it, because I think Harry Kane might go to Man City, and that is an absolutely incredible signing. But I really think we've made such good progression this year. Ollie deserves huge credit. So do the players. And we sort of go again next year. The Euros this summer, obviously. That's something else to look forward to, regardless of what you think of the country that you hail from. I'm not particularly the biggest England fan, but I do love watching the Euros and the World Cup, so I can't wait for that. And let's just enjoy summer of football, and let's get going again next summer. Next season, sorry.
Just touching on Harry Kane.
You're touching Harry Kane?
Yeah, I mean, there's two types of footballers, isn't there? There's footballers with ambition. Yeah. And there's posers. And you know what I think about posers anyway. Yeah. And I just hope Harry Kane has a little bit of ambition about him and doesn't take the path of least resistance to a Premier League title. Because at the minute, we know City is the path of least resistance. So I'm kind of hoping he's got a bit more about him, and he wouldn't automatically jump to the blue side of Manchester, and might look at a project where maybe not next season, but the season after, with him and a couple of good additions, the title will come back to the red side of Manchester. I just hope he's got a bit more about him than just jumping to the blue side of Manchester.
Yeah. The thing to add to that, though, is I know this is becoming the Stu and Cal show again, which it always seems to. But the thing is, he is 28 coming into next season, and I do think he does want to win trophies. He's given Tottenham a lot, so I wouldn't completely blame him. And the problem is that there's nothing. There should be, there should be nothing that stops Man United from going out and doing what Chelsea did last summer and spending 250 million. we've got the capacity to do that. Unfortunately, we have owners that don't let us do that. But if we were to do that, there is absolutely no reason why Man United couldn't go out this summer and sign Harry Kane, sign Jadon Sancho, and sign a centre-back. There's absolutely nothing stopping that. Now, I personally think we probably won't go for him because we'll be looking at maybe Mason Greenwood's development, which I'd be very okay with, to be honest. But the guy, I sort of disagree on that. I think he probably will go to City, and I don't think you could blame him. You know, he's given a career to Tottenham, and I think, unfortunately, you know, after the Champions League final, I think he probably should have left. And I think if it had came to United then, we'd have been very grateful. But with the likes of Cavani and Greenwood developing to become our number 9, I can't see him going anywhere else other than Man City. I'd be surprised if he did, to be honest. I'd hate it, but I'd be surprised if he went elsewhere.
Yeah, just to see us out, we're going to let John Gray have one comment that's being put up on the screen. I don't know if this is offensive to anyone, but it's going to you, James. So say this.
For Cook, 12 Peel Street.
Cool.
Say French Connection UK.
Guys, that's been our show. Thanks so much. As always, watch the first 12 seconds if you want to know anything about when we're playing Wolves. After that, it gets into real conversation. Make sure to join us Wednesday, I guess, for the watch along. Sorry. And I'm sure we'll have a preview before that as well. But
if we are doing that, I'll try join on my phone from the pub for a brief bit. But I will be in the pub watching that game.
Fuck you, so Callum.
If I can get on my phone and sort of do a little brief snippet, then I will do.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, I'm sure we'll sort something out. Anyway, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. I gotta go to bed and follow the guys on the socials, and we'll see you when we're 3 points heavy.